reckon with, and Liquid are going to meet their match here. Now, this is a Liquid team that has looked a lot better than they have the entire year. I'd argue maybe the best they've looked all year, and have found a lot of what is working for them at this tournament. Boxy has entered evil Boxy mode. We're going to try and make this 4-position Morphling shine. This is an exciting
Boxy in the booth.
This is an exciting game to me because I think Liquid, again, they're finding what's working for them. They're going back to some of the Zoo, the tempo for 33. Going back to the fighting carries for Mickey with something like the Razor. Playmakers for Nisha and Boxy. This is what makes this team function. And at the same time, on the other side, I mean, come on. Like, we have a Yatoro Phantom Assassin. This guy's signature hero of all time. And a collapsed Magnus.
And I think what's even cooler is that he did not choose to go methodical, which if you are a Redditor, you probably saw that recent post. Somebody made a long, lengthy essay about why people, all these pros, are going methodical and why they should consider Veiled One. I have no idea if Yatoro, of all people, managed to spy that one, but it seems like he agrees with that person. He's going to choose the Veiled One, so he's going to be a little bit more elusive, a little bit hard. When he jumps in, he's going to be able to get several hits in before he's actually spotted out. So this will be interesting to see what exactly he plans on doing with this. Everything else seems to be as expected. If you haven't been watching this tournament, haven't been watching Liquid, or somebody else was doing this, right? The support Morphling. We're going to be seeing that Flow, rather, facet. So the Strength Morphling. This has been picked up another times throughout the groups, but maybe you've missed it. But this is the kind of thing. People are jamming the Strength Morphling and trying to work off of this really low cooldown that you get off.
Yeah, Tundra's the other team that comes to mind.
Yes.
They're willing to flex that hero around, especially since I think all their players will play it, right? Yeah. We have a quick pause here. But I do think this PA facet's interesting because if you think about how he's going to play these fights, he wants to go in and he wants to have a window where you maybe don't need to immediately pop BKB without getting roared or linked or Sven stunned or whatever. Could prolong his window to jump in the fight and have impact with the Empower before he gets dispelled or something weird happens to him. So I could definitely see the value. I mean, the real question mark is no reverse RP here for Collapse, really? Surely he would have considered it here.
No. Please no. Unless you're doing Phoenix.
Has he played this hero before? He knows how good the RP is, right? I think he knows a thing or two
about Magnus. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to trust his judgment that reverse polarity is not the play. You know, when we get into playoffs, it's the first time that we get to judge the strength of the two opposing groups, right? We had Group A, Group B, people everywhere, I think, all around looked at Group A and said, oh yeah, Group A, much stronger, of course. We have Team Falcons, Team Spirit. That automatically means they're the stronger group. And then you add in the fact that Game of Gladiators is also in form. Group A must be the strongest group. And that's probably right, but Team Liquid have a chance to be able to perhaps rebuke that notion if they can take down Team Spirit here. And I think one part of that entire narrative that's really interesting, and Purge brought it up there in the interview with Blitz, is that there was a difference in meta when it came to Group A and Group B. Group B rocked the Beastmaster like none other. Group B, Beastmaster all day, every day. Group A, not nearly as much. And part of that is probably just the teams. Liquid, obviously, very much favorite. Tundra, they like it a lot. So it's like maybe some of it's just a bit of sample size and favoritism of the teams. But you heard Blitz there talking about how they feel like Beastmaster is the strongest hero and it's 33's best. So we're going to actually put that notion to the test, and it's one of those little meta things that happens when we get to these big tournaments, right? The groups separate, a meta develops within each group, and then in some ways you kind of see which group was right about their idea.
Yeah, you better hope you're on the right side of history, because there have been many a TI where you're in that bad group and you have a lot of catching up to do. Or if your meta is just worse, it's difficult to recover. To me, the biggest difference, you're talking about the Beastmaster for the Group B, I think the equivalent for Group A might have been this Sand King. It really got pushed up high priority by some of these teams, especially Team Spirit Falcons. Even some of the teams that got eliminated were playing it as a result.
Yeah, they were, Group A was also more willing to do like 3-position Sand King, just to like keep the Sand King in your draft. Maybe you don't do it mid, but you still run it somewhere.
And we did see this hero get challenged. That's the interesting part. Is I felt like there were games where, okay, I can see people figuring this mid Sand King out a bit. We saw some of the game where the double Mage Slayer came back. Early Pipe is in the meta. You can just triple BKB rush, maybe negate some of the hero's impact. Anti-healing can be pretty strong, like we've even seen Doom versus Sand King. Just doom him. He can't do this Bloodstone shenanigans, right?
Sure.
I feel like there were some things that got figured out about this hero, and I think people lost a little confidence in him, and then he just came back. And it's like, oh, no, we don't care. We're just going to first pick him anyway. We know what he can do.
Well, as far as I can tell, there isn't really a Mage Slayer hero here for Team Liquid. So there goes one of the potential counters. Miposhka looks like he is in trouble, very much dead, caught in the middle of the jungle against a Beastmaster Hawk that will eventually hunt him down. Just need the vision for it. And another round, and that'll be 33's first blood.
Man, the Hawk's so strong in this meta with the blood grenades, just chase people down. You get caught in those open jungle areas, you are a goner. First blood for 33 with the first pick Beast. He is enjoying his offlane life right now.
And perhaps the most important for Team Liquid, if we're gonna, keep with this narrative of do they have the answer to the Sand King, Beastmaster is probably gonna be one of the better answers, right? Between his Aghanim Scepter and the pipe that he will eventually build up, right? You will have this kind of a matching, sustaining AoE force, right?
I think that's the interesting dynamic for me. Between this Beast Sand King that did get first pick, does one kind of answer the other? I could see it go both ways. I think it is pretty tempo-based. Traditionally, Sand King was good versus a lot of the Zoo heroes, but obviously, Beast, is he a Zoo hero now? Probably not.
Yeah.
He's more of just a frontline anti-BKB damage dealer. And so, in that sense, I think this matchup got worse for Sand King. But Sand King is also a little bit of a different hero in that you have like this mega AoE Sandstorm and he has healing mechanics himself.
Yeah.
I think it's a little weird. So I would agree, I kind of favor Beast here just because you go in, you roar up the Sand King, you pop BKB, you're just on top of him. Seems pretty favorable because it's what you want to do anyway.
There's also there's a burst on both sides, right? You have a Phantom Assassin who, once you get strong enough, can maybe burst down the Beastmaster before he starts getting his full drums going out. But you also have the time much earlier. Mickey just gets popped. He did not see that one coming.
Full stick charges on Mira, but he just didn't have the resources on Razor. I mean, maybe this is, I would take a fast trip to base and say you need to get some CS, but
maybe
not the kill you wanted to give up to the Magnus, who was falling behind in this lane phase. Collapse, getting the least CS here, getting the most punished on the regen. That's a big boon to what was a rough laning phase for him. And this is not a man on this hero you want to give extra gold to.
He had Courier coming in with fresh set of tangos, one recipe, and a raindrop. So I'm going to say that he was definitely not planning on going back to base like that. Just a bit of an overstep there from Mickey, who now puts his drain onto Mira. Mira with the telekinesis quickly removes that, breaking the link.
Slane has felt more annoying than Liquid than I think they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
That death, Collapse getting some extra regen, can stay up on the lane. I mean, you look at the CS, they are punishing him, but it's a Razor versus a melee hero. Sure, you have Skewer and Lift to break the link, but this should be mostly a lane dominated by Mickey here. And at a minimum, he should be free farming it outside of some Fade Bolt, whatever. On the flip side, I feel like Yatoro, he is getting a dream start here for the Phantom Assassin. You can't really ask for much better than this in the first 5 minutes. Basically free farming top of the CS chart, top of the net worth chart, has not had to buy a lot of regen because he has that Chen on the lane, even got the heal creep. That's a super nice creep with the PA here. Incredibly efficient. And Poshka did go for the Satyr as well, so it got a little mana burnout early, and now I mean, this is just extra gold into the Phantom Assassin's pocket. Exactly what you want if you are Yatoro here. The more levels you can get as well, you got a lot of solo XP. Like that Chen kill, super nice for 33. Downside is Yatoro got some solo time, and his levels are also pretty solid right now. It's almost a level ahead. Considerable for this hero. Liquid looking for the gate backstab, pushing in with the catapult.
Yeah,
I mean, Spirit have to have a read on this. You're going to give up a lot here if you don't rotate the Rubik or somebody.
Yatoro, aka Radon, playing a little bit farther up on the north side of this tower, knowing that the rotation could have come from below, and it never does. So,
well positioned. Maybe the Chen creeps dissuaded a bit. I mean, you also don't have the most damage here, I guess, if you're Liquid. This early Morphling Spend duo is not the best at nuking people down.
No, they are going to be heavily reliant on the Tiny to pump out the damage, which is where Nisha's matchup is so important. Maposhka going to get run down, but Marl makes the counter move here to get the kill on the opposing support. Insania for Maposhka is the trade-off.
Honestly, I don't think Liquid are too sad about that. They got the TP out of the Sand King, which is a big one for this early game. Could open up a Beastmaster dive later. Got the amp damage rune out of the Sand King as well, which is nice. Downside again, though, is you're giving more solo time to Yatoro down here.
And he is just about to pick up his level 6.
Now he is... This is the dream laning start for a hero that is not supposed to have it. I think he's scratching his head like, huh. Wish I could get this in my pubs.
Yeah, maybe he wants more support morphlings to play against. Because that's got to be a big factor, right? Yeah,
for sure.
Beastmaster's a strong laner, but we heard Ace earlier in his interview talk about how you view off lane, and it's a teamwork experience. Your support makes a large impact in how the off lane goes. And
well, of course he's going to say that in the interview. I mean, let's be real. Every
off
laner says,
time toss over to set up, crash landing, almost kills Mira outright, and Collapse, who already used his skewer because Mickey, maybe this was part of the bait, put the drain on it, the link on him early, Collapse skewered out, now it's on cooldown when they go for the dives.
Sal for that too. Bit of extra gold thrown away, and that's a much better rotation for Liquid. Got what they were looking for with this kind of collapse behind the tower, except this time they're going into the weak Magnus instead of the strong PA here with the Chen to back him up. Very easy rotation. Get some tower damage, Nisha gets some extra gold. And just go straight back mid, looking for that 8-minute power rune. Would love a haste rune here.
Now we had amp damage for 6. And it's going to be a shield rune. Insania will see if he takes it before the Burrow Strike. He does. Laurel, they're actually going to go for it here. Dust, crash landing right on top of Laurel for heavy damage, and the tree gets thrown. Not quite enough damage. Insania is going to struggle to keep that damage going out as support Sven not going to be able to do it, but maybe Nisha can get another round here. Nice Burrow Strike down to low ground. Good call by Laurel.
Yeah, beautiful juke. Tree to fog him and down the low ground.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It is the Sand King, though, getting pushed around a bit. He went down to the bottom lane and got that support kill, came back. Now he's been pushed out of mid a bit, so Nisha is beginning to catch up in net worth in that regard.
And every time you get the Sand King to TP somewhere, you're really happy for Liquid. It means you can make another move on one of these side lanes.
Right.
He's the best response Team Spirit have in this early game. Saw Blitz talk about the tempo. I mean, if you're looking at this Team Spirit lineup, it's kind of all in on this Chen Sand King to control the first 20 minutes here. Either snowball through the Chen or play defensively through the Sand King. And honestly, I think you're better off playing defensively through the Sand King. I don't see you pushing towers this game if you're Team Spirit.
Boxing. Ooh, heavy damage from that Stinger. Hits him with the stun. Laurel's going to try and chase after him with the phase boots. Misses that Stinger, though.
So it's time for the Beastmaster to accelerate. 33 is going to clean up some Ancients here and will be the most farmed hero in this game without contest. So it should be a fast Ags. This is why this hero is so valued. Get that Ags out at a good time. You can just start plowing through the objectives, especially the early Roshan. You can almost solo it. As his counterpart in Collapse continues to struggle to stay on lane, but he is getting some okay levels, and I mean, his game is not as directly important to Spirit. As long as he gets some in power levels, you throw it on the Phantom Assassin, can always win that team fight.
Yeah, no doubt.
10-minute power rune, look for the haste. Just gonna call that every time until it actually is a haste, and I'm gonna look good.
I was about to say, you're really stuck on the haste, aren't you? They hit him with the toss, wait for him for a bit more damage. But again, oh, maybe with the stun, they can keep it going. This is going to be a hell of a dive, though. They get the tree toss, and that finishes them off. And then a quick toss from Nisha for the extra damage on the mid tower, 33. Instead of pressuring the safe lane tower, has actually come all the way to mid with the siege wagon push. They're going to take this tower nice and early and free up Nisha's lane. Another backstab here from Insania hits another Stormhammer to lead Nisha and get another kill, and they'll go back to finishing this tower. So Liquid up by 3K.
The last hit.
10 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing. Nisha, you're playing a Tiny. That hero's usually really good at last hitting towers.
I mean, Liquid are playing this well. Very methodical. I think outside of that one rotation bottom, it's been pretty clean, and they're getting what they want. Backstabs on the towers where the Sand King can't rotate to, or you're going to the Sand King, which in case, like, who are you bringing to that fight? Chen can't just TP there as creeps can't get there. You're forcing the PA or the Magnus to come to that fight before they're ready. Not something they want to do here unless it's a terrible dive. So as long as Liquid bring the numbers to these early tier 1s, they're going to find some good lead here. And that's what you want to do versus the Mag PA. I mean, this is an old school strat. This thing goes back to, I want to say TI6, but honestly, I think it was TI7 to TI8 period. It really became what it was.
Yeah. Battle Fury going to be up very soon for Yatoro. He's going to give up on his tower. Insania is just hovering around in the trees, stealing some of his experience. And I assume setting up for a bit of a go once Liquid is done taking that tower at bottom.
Will be the blink rush for Laurel. Once more feeling the pressure that this game is not going to allow you too much time to get greedy here on something like a Bloodstone build-up. You're going to have to fight here if you're Spirit to hold on to your Ancients. This Battle Fury PA with the power is only as good as you have the camps to use it for.
I will say, I do feel like the mid Sand King looks worse when he's pressured into going fast blink.
I would agree. I don't think it's what Spirit ideally want here, but I think this is the type of game they were prepared for with this draft, right? You don't go into a game like this with Mag PA against a Beastmaster lineup, against Liquid, one of the faster teams here, without understanding you're likely going to be behind out of the laning stage. So as long as you can protect the camps you need here, which should be that double Ancient area, that last tier 1 is pretty valuable, honestly, for Spirit to keep up. Roche, I mean, that is all Liquids all day.
Yeah. Once you get that Aghanim Scepter on Beastmaster, it feels like it's free. So
this is going to be a strong mid game for Liquid, no doubt about it. They're going to be able to follow up, force some of these tier 2s or get the fights they want. Might be a big question for Liquid in terms of how much do you commit to that mid game. Like, how many auras are you willing to buy? How much early game fighting items are you willing to buy versus do you want to just try and scale a bit with something like the Razor?
Liquid brought way too many heroes for this little go. They really thought Team Spirit was gonna contest.
Yeah,
they brought all 5 heroes to this corner of the map, and Team Spirit just spread out and farmed.
I don't like that idea. I think you easily set up top there or make another smoke play for Vision or something like that with the other 2 or 3, or just farm the lanes. There's no way Spirit are contesting that Roshan.
Well, they got to try and recover that space by smoking out, going to the other side of the map through the gate. And they'll deal with the wave that's pushing in, and looks like they're making an invasion, but they're not going to be the strongest force. And Team Spirit, they have their Battle Fury, they have their Blink Dagger. Collapse is ready to get a pick off.
Yeah, they know exactly where they are right now off the D-Ward. I mean, you can see how close they're huddled together. They want this 14-minute Wisdom Rune. Felt like Liquid were going to gun for it. Instead, they'll smoke back into them with the Magnus Blink and the Sand King Blink. This is a big timing for Spirit to get something out of it. Razor would be huge for them.
Yeah, if they get this pick off on Razor, turn it into the safe lane tower, that'll be a pretty heavy net worth sweep that they'll get for themselves.
This is another kind of betrayed smoke in the sense of the lanes are all in for them.
They are going to run into Mickey here, so as long as he hit the skewer back into the Burrow Strike, he is done. And Team Liquid not even going to bother to try and rotate. They TP 0 heroes.
I'm surprised Liquid gave up that depth there with the other 2 lanes going in. No one had shown on the map for a long time. It's limited things Spirit could be doing. And they end up not only losing the biggest carry on his way to Manta, but they're going to give a tower over to this Phantom Assassin during their Aegis period. Spirit gets to hold on to their Ancients, the 14-minute Wisdom, and that offlane tier 1, which is decently valuable here.
Yeah, that feels like a situation where Mickey just needs to farm back closer to his tier 2, and if they go that deep, then you can punish them.
Yep.
Right? You could TP some people on a tier 2, some people on a tier 1, take a full team fight.
Because these kills are the ones you, again, you just don't want to give up these big core kills versus the Mag PA. Like, you want to make sure that you control when the fights happen and you have as good a lead going into that. So you win those pivotal moments and you don't allow them to make the comeback.
33.
Want to fight this.
Telekinesis grabs him before he gets off a Primal Roar. Gets it off eventually here. Laurel whipping the Burrow Strike. Hits the epicenter, though. Almost enough to finish off Boxy. Not good enough, so they both die.
Yeah, I don't know about stunning the fours there. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Had no Sandstorm instantly either.
He just really wanted a good stinger pop, you know?
That felt like it was going to be a nice 2-man Burrow Strike into the more kill Boxy, clean up some summons. Instead, Liquid just get everything there. An awkward moment for Team Spirit in this game. Poach is going to lose his courier, continue to just try and farm up this Chen. Get some kind of map pressure here. But the space is being taken away very fast.
What could have been a 2-man stun. He probably only kills Boxy for it, and they still trade 1 for 2, but...
I mean, maybe he was going for the Rubik plus the summons, and then you pop the summons. Or, you know, the Morphling plus the summons, and then you pop summons, kill Morphling.
Sure.
Because that beast has Aegis anyway. I can understand that play. Maybe just didn't line it up.
Either way, you were talking about the importance of team spirit, like methodically setting up pickoffs. And that one definitely felt a little rushed attempt from team spirit and gets them into hot water pretty quickly. Uh-oh, Yatoro's going to be caught out. That is not what you could afford here. Losing their big carry. Finally, he gets hunted down. He had been finding so much free space around the map, starting from a successful lane, but you still have a long ways to go until PA is an actual real hero. And this is going to be the period of time where you're going to feel that the most of pressure coming from Liquid.
Rough death to give up here. You just much farm on the Phantom Assassins you can get. Liquid get a real efficient kill. Just carry straight into that last tier 1. Now you're going to open up these ancient areas. You can get some vision out here. You can de-ward with the time you have. Know that Epicenter was still on cooldown as well. And you're building up the auras on the 2 supports. It's going to be the Greaves for the Morphling and just drums into something here for Insania. Think about a quick little pickoff, but they will not get it. And look at that mid lane, man. Somebody has to show.
Yeah, shoved all the way into tier 3. With the toss doing some extra damage, the creeps hitting it, somebody has to respond from Team Spirit, and Team Liquid will make a fast move to bottom.
Actually baiting it out.
Yeah, they TP out. Insania's trying to bait it out. But really, they're originally looking at an Epicenter blink play on a 5-position Sven. Like, that wasn't inherently that valuable in the first place for Team Spirit. They don't stick around for it either.
They just want the PA BKB. I mean, that's it. Gotta line this BKB up with when this Aegis expires, which should happen here during this in-between Roche time, and then get that fight out of it.
Is that BKB going to be worth that much, though? Because they are playing up against a support Sven, something that Entity, Liquid, you know, these teams have been bringing to the table specifically against these physical damage carries. Just the overwhelming amount of armor and shield that you get from this Warcry with the shard and stuff, it makes it so these early physical damage dealers just don't do much.
It's just early enough that you don't have it, so there's something to be said for that. And you do have some cleave mechanic going through. You can clump some heroes up with RP and cleave through them. Also helps you bypass some of the resistance here.
That's true. They will be supercharging this PA.
Dire's middle tower.
Oh, even better if they can find Nisha first pickoff. Hits him with the avalanche, tries to slow this down.
So
it does give his
tanky,
team a little bit of time to be able to TP in. Not enough to save him, but maybe they can hit something. RP grabs 33 as well. Stuns come out. They try and chase after Team Spirit. They're fighting a division here. Trying to get the toss up onto the cliff. Not quite worth it. At 33 at half HP, finally gets off the roar, and the drums start going. But Radon goes for the kill, and they turn around with the Primal Roar, and they do manage to get the kill. Yatoro, though, is now stuck on the wrong side of Team Liquid Heroes. He gets his hop back over to Collapse. Thanks for the help there. And the assistance further. Collapse throws his body on the line, drags 3 heroes away from Yatoro to buy his carry the space to TP away, and he gets out. What a move from Collapse.
I mean, there's so many small things in that fight that go well for Team Spirit, and they barely get out with a team fight win. Huge double RP on the Beastmaster, who's walking in that fight looking for the Roar, because that is a tough target to bring down on the Tiny. He gets piked at the end as well. Have to commit everything on him, but they managed to line it up. 3-man skewer to save Yatoro, who blinks to a Golem and dodges a Morphling stun. So close to being a disaster here. They picked their targets well, and Yatoro, he just waits for a lot of this fight. He's not even here at the start, letting the other boys get the job done. This pipe almost saved Nisha.
Did. Imagine if you get off the Primal Roar and that pipe.
Couldn't
maybe actually bail Nisha out long enough. This steal, Mira, great timing. Primal Roar turnaround with Yatoro jumping back in. Massive play.
Absolutely huge steal here from Mira. I mean, he has good spells to steal this game. It is something you got to think about if you're Liquid. Take this Rubik out.
They're going to take him a target. He still has that Primal Roar, and he's going to try and put it to use to save his own life here. It's going to work. He's got the extra movement speed. The lockdown on Boxy helps him get away. He did have to trade. Well, he didn't have to, but he did trade out spells.
I mean, if he gets any of the Morph, that would be huge. If he gets the Tiny Stun, huge this game. The Roar, definitely big. Plasma Field's not even that bad. You can also steal this Sven Warcry, which could be pretty big for your team here. As Liquid, I mean, they're doing a decent amount of physical.
Yeah. There's
some really impactful stuff here if Mira can come online. And, I mean, hey, just like that, this PA's, you know, he's in the top 2 or 3. And his BKB is done.
Interesting. They actually, the shard ends up going over to mid-game. So it bypassed Boxy. Insania already bought out his shard. So now they've got the little walk the dog mechanic, which may not be the best against the Magnus and PA, as mobile as they are, and Sand King actually, but we'll see. Might be a situation where it keeps the hero just close enough.
It's still good. Like you might pull this PA out of a target he's trying to blink away to or something.
Sure.
You never know. The Rubik one also not bad here for Team Spirit. Upgrade some of the spells and might be able to lift somebody out of a roar, make Liquid go in deeper into the fight, but they are just eyeing the second Roshan. You definitely want to do Roshan off cooldown this game if you are Liquid. Accelerate this objective as much as you can.
And this is a Roshan that Team Spirit have the power to be able to contest. With their double blink daggers initiations, they have the opportunity, but they lack the initiation here to get the Primal Roar off on the Sand King. And with the BKB on the Razor and that shard pulling him in, are they going to use the RP to try and bail him out? Collapse says no, not for now. Mickey diving past the tier 2. His BKB now worn thin is going to be RP'd underneath the tier 2. Try and get the stolen skewer away from Boxy to be able to heal out Mickey. Mickey getting some distance. Radon Yatoro needs the vision. He can't quite get it. He misses the kill on Mickey. This time it's Liquid, who use all of their heroes in conjunction to bail out their carry, and they will wipe Team Spirit in the process.
The power of piping Greaves right there. Team Spirit feel like they have to settle for a single target RP, and they pay a big price as the rest of the support can come in and disrupt that play. Even with a 9-second full duration BKB on Yatoro, he just doesn't get the crits. And this is just not the type of start that Team Spirit are looking for. They have to use a lot of defensive capability to bail out the Sand King, who dies anyway. They lose the Rubik in the process. You're basically taking a 3-on-5 at this point, and you still have all the heals left in the tank.
That move from Boxy. He's like, nice move, Collapse. I could do that too.
Just beautiful spell casting from Liquid, and they know their strong points in this game. Willing to take that fight before doing the Roshan, and now they get to go back to it and claim it as a freebie. You can just push straight down bottom if you really want to after this.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, is like, how far do you push this as Team Liquid? Because you are on a timer, right? You don't want to go PA Magnus going lane. I don't feel comfortable with that.
You definitely want to keep pushing. I mean, you get this Crimson on the Beast, I don't think you're losing a 5-on-5. Like, I mean, I say, yeah, you could still get 3 or 4-man RP Burrow struck, of course.
Yeah, skewered back to tier 4s and
yeah,
stuff.
the high ground, I guess, is a concern with the skewers and the dagger spam.
But relative strength, I mean, this has got to be one of the largest peaks that Liquid's going to have against this Spirit squad.
I still think there's a world you could take that fight inside Spirit's base with the triple aura here. Like, you have Greaves, Pipe, Crimson, Drum, Sven Shard online, Pavis, plus a Roche banner right now. It's so much 5-man sustain and buff.
I don't know why, but the Pavis makes me laugh. Like, so many of these big auras, and they're just a Pavis on top of everything else. Maposhka gets spotted here in the corner. Uses the Hurricane to push back Boxy. Boxy gonna catch up with the waveform here. He's just trying to keep pace until his team can join him. Until an actual killer, some real damage. And now that they're here, they'll take the kill. They'll take whatever creeps they can get. Boxy's been quite the... It's not like the clearest, Morphling game where he's doing a bunch of really cool stuff, but he keeps on turning into the Chen and stealing some of these creeps. 33 gets the pick off on Mira, but he is entirely alone. Not entirely alone. Nisha hits a huge combo that one-shots Yatoro. 100-0, the power of a crash landing Tiny with Conda.
Absolutely evaporated. 1,200 damage in a second and a half there. If you don't BKB, you're absolutely done for. And that was maybe an opening for that PA with the roar on cooldown.
The problem is, once you use that roar, the drum's also going that entire time, so he's not the easiest kill to pop right away.
I mean, 33 still did around 500 damage to Yatoro there, and he was basically stunned, so...
Well, that's going to be tier 2s wiped off the map pretty quickly off of that, because Liquid obviously were kind of pushing in 3 lanes at once. So tier 2s all down now for the side of Team Spirit. But the question remains, how are Team Liquid going to be able to break the high ground here? Any sort of small pickoff, even a support pickoff, would give them perhaps the incentive to do it now.
That's the thing. You're power spiking right now because you have all these auras, and you have all of them as an advantage over Team Spirit. Which means in a straight on 5-on-5, you are extremely advantaged. But if that hero gets pulled in deep on the high ground,
found
it
him.
doesn't matter.
33, a good read. Knew that Yotaro was going to be coming out here. Pops the BKB, a desperate TP away. That does make it. Oh, that was extremely close.
You can go high ground now, though, right? You still have Aegis.
Oh, yeah.
For 2 minutes here, and now there's no BKB on the Phantom Assassin, which means your only play here is Spirit of Steel and a Skewer. And if that gets interrupted, it might just be the game.
Moxie now turning into the Phantom Assassin to blur himself. Burrow strike on 2 from Laurel. Team Spirit are going to have to make a lot of these little plays. And if Laurel just gets picked off without any interference from Team Spirit, it's going to be just a terrible start for them, as he just cannot seem to get away. Looks like they're going to try and play off a buyback here. Mira, good stolen toss to keep Mickey off. Oh, collapse. Toss back on Anisha, though. Getting collapsed would be perfect. That is the biggest threat on the side of Team Spirit right now. He tries to make back to the fountain. He just can't quite make it. Hits the wall, slams into it, and just dies like that. Elena Barrick's gone, and another toss back, a beautiful one, as they just keep on going. Nisha gets all the pickoffs, and is the game just over like that, Avery?
The Morphling and the Tiny just destroyed them in that fight. The tossbacks here. Instant tossback on collapse from Nisha as he was going in looking for that 4-man RP he would have gotten if it did not get interrupted. Liquid are on point with this push. They know their timing in this game, and they have
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
just diesel train straight through it here.
Oh, yeah. And they're trying to use their buybacks now because they know this push is actually happening too fast from Liquid. They have to use that gold. Epicenter coming in. Burrow strike only on 1. Hitting the Razor. All the damage shrugged off by a pipe. A waveform through. Laurel surrounded by heroes. Collapse. He has to hit a haymaker here. He has to hit some sort of incredible skewer back RP, and all he gets is 33. A little fish in a massive pond that is just Team Liquid net worth 30,000 ahead. They're trying to drag him back. They do manage to get the toss back there on the Boxy end of the fountain.
He's not dead.
Nice play from Mira, but it's still not enough. Boxy will not die. A support Morphling goes into a fountain and comes out swimming.
Mega's gone. Collapse is gone. This mag strat had no time to come online. You have one more buyback here to look for something, but good luck. Yotaro just doesn't do any damage into these auras.
Just one shots the Chen. This is just the crash landing. Tiny, collapse. Didn't actually use the RP, but
I mean, who
had
you
his
want?
Blink Dagger canceled. Now he goes for it. Does manage the skewer back onto 2. That'll grip Mickey and 33, but the Manta, it dodged a little bit of damage and even tosses the illusion back into Team Spirit. And it does so much damage, man. GG is called. Team Spirit seemingly had no chance after that second Roche. Confident that they were going to lose game 1 and come back in this series. But after watching this draft, you're confident? Do you still hold that?
I mean, this is the game 2 where you doubt them, but then they just outplay their opponents. I've been here before, man. I've been here before. I'm not going to doubt it again.
Okay.
Am I super confident in this draft on paper? No. If it was any other team, I'd give Liquid an advantage, but it's not any other team. So you got to give some respect to the Kings here, right? That said, I do think this game looks very hard for this Fen. He does not have a lot to help him chase heroes down, other than you're locking down enemy heroes from Liquid and you have that BKB interval. But if you get charged during that duration, you get another struck, maybe you get toss comboed at the start of the fight, you're already low HP. You have to get through a fraction, you have to get through tiny armor, Greaves on the Darkseer at some point. It's a tough Sven game, man.
What happened to the Team Spirit of just, last picking Yotoro's heroes, since he can play any carry and win the game with it? What happened to that? Why are we giving him PA now and now this early pick Sven?
I just don't think there's many carries in the meta that you last pick that actually carry the game anymore. I think that pool used to be a lot of the traditional agi carries, which are either very underwhelming, things like Phantom Assassin or Terrorblade, which, yeah, they can win you the off game, but they're not just the 1v5 hyper beasts they used to be. And you're playing in a meta where it's dominated by these big aura teamfight offlaners that really dictate the pace. If you can't keep up with it, you fall behind, and then you're playing an underwhelming hero from a behind position that can't kill anybody. That just feels ultra bad. So you either need a carry that can accelerate itself with farming mechanics like Sven, or you go fight, or you have some sort of damage mechanic that makes you overwhelming in the late game. which is something, I mean, the only one that comes to mind in this meta is Ursa. Like, Ursa can actually cut through these guys in the late game because he doesn't care about your auras. He builds the stacks, but he's kind of a unique hero in that regard. And we did see the Ursa get banned out last year from Team Spirit. They were afraid of it for a good reason.
I was going to say another point to add to that is just I've been looking through the picks of this tournament, and it's funny when it comes to the unpicked heroes, there is a lot of carries in that list. It just seems like there is a number of carries that are just simply not viable. So if you have somebody like Yatoro, aka Radon, who has this very wide carry pool that he can play, it's gotta be a big hit if just like half of those heroes just straight up, you just don't think that they're actually viable. And Team Spirit are probably one of the teams who are being more experimental with their carry pickups. Not too many Phantom Assassins at this tournament, and yet I believe Team Spirit, that's not the first time they drafted it here. So
I agree. It probably does hurt them more than some other teams because I think that's what they prefer to do. But
geez,
they would really like to do that.
Second time in this series that he completely underestimates the off lane of Team Spirit and gets bursted.
I do like that Spirit adjusted the pace here, though. I think that's the biggest change from game one to this game is you're not just going to run them over. They have Sand King and Underlord, and Sven's a much faster carry than that Phantom Assassin. So Team Spirit can fight early here if Liquid try and pick up the pace, which again, they're going to try and strike really hard in that like early mid game with this Darkseer Spirit Breaker. They have a lot of team fight combinations, a lot of early spell power. Sure, you have things like Demonic Purge that can come on later, but it can be a little slow. Shadow Demon's not the best hero at getting run at early on the map, you know, contesting runes, things like this. To get 4 stacks up here, that's some decent damage.
Yeah, that certainly adds up.
So if the Sand King and the Underlord get really big, I feel like that's the center point of Spirit's team fight more than the Sven. Like, you're just going to anchor everything around this pit, the auras, the sandstorm, and if you're Liquid, you have to fight into that. So you really need a strong Pike Greaves timing in this game, so you can just plow into these AoE spells as a Tiny, as a Darkseer. Heroes that are traditionally not going to buy early BKBs are not going to deal well with those mechanics. And if you're mid-game in this game, you have to really pick when you jump in the fight and who you jump on well, because if you go in that fight, expend early BKB, maybe don't buy one for a long time and just get stuck in Pit, Firestorm, Demonic Purge, Sandstorm, like, that's too many storms. You're not going to deal with it at all. Your refraction is going to be gone instantly.
I'm glad you brought up TA because in the topic of unique carries, this is Liquid's unique carry, right? They were the ones who came out with this Templar Assassin. Collapse is going to die here. The charge coming in from Boxy might be able to bail out Mickey, as he might have lost the fight to Mira, but now it's easily won. They get 2 kills in this bottom lane. Nice rotation by Boxy, making use of the Ion Shell that was put on him too.
Definitely look for more of these rotations if you are a Liquid fan here, as I think, for me, this game is a lot about the 2 supports and what they can do in the early game for Liquid and what they can do in those early fights around the Darkseer. And especially if you can get Boxy snowballing in this type of game.
Yeah. Oh, we've seen these Darkseer Spirit Breakers. They can become quite the menace.
So far, though, lanes, a lot more even than that game 1, though. We are seeing even Collapse with that first blood. He is struggling down bottom just in terms of getting burnt out by this Jakiro. And meanwhile, Yatoro is free farming again for a second game in a row.
A little bit of a mess up there from Team Spirit, both reacting to Boxy's charge. Stormbolt gets wasted by the disruption.
I also like the max strength itemization here for 33. Just get the most out of the innate / facet.
Yeah, I always find it surprising when they choose Quick Wit. I think Quick Wit is an underutilized facet for Darkseer, especially if you're just trying to hit an aura timing. It just makes this hero farm up faster. Mira a little bit far forward here, really challenging Mickey, and will lose that battle as Insania was just sitting on the side. Mira walked straight up there, almost damn near into melee range of the Templar Assassin. Not the wisest move I've ever seen.
Really have to respect the Jakiro on lane now. He is not the same hero he used to be. He does a lot of damage. This is a great rotation if it works, though.
Good backstab from behind. Mickey will do what damage he can with the refraction up, but with Insania, who's currently trying to deal with some sort of lane shenanigans there, he couldn't really help out. So they do at least get the trade-off, even if maybe Mira jumped the gun earlier.
Big bailout for that lane. Again, Collapse is the one struggling here, especially regen-wise. Get him some extra kills, some extra solo time on the lane. He doesn't get more of his HP burn. He can work towards some more sustain. Pushes Mickey back farther as well. Second death on the laning stage for this last pick TA. Not where he wants to be, missing out on a decent amount of experience here, especially compared to the counterpart in Sven, who is staying up strong up top.
Charge on the mid lane. Laurel in trouble, has to turn around and burrow strike. They have any vision? Okay, just the blood grenade and the ion shell will do enough here. Nisha's going to take a couple of shots from the tower, but if he gets the refill on the rune, which he will, then he'll be perfectly fine. Boxy gets disrupted, but he should just be able to run up and maybe pop clarity at some point, charge back into a lane somewhere. Either way, this is probably... Actually, Ziotoro's going to cut across. Where did he come from? What's he doing all the way over here?
He was just jungling. Didn't want to stay out too far in the lane, probably for the charge threat. Okay. Instead went into his mid laner. He is being efficient in that jungle, but it is giving solo time to the Darkseer, and 33 has... Well, he has had himself a laning phase here. Yeah, I think he bought 0 regen total, full in on the strength stat items, as the highest net worth in the game.
Yeah,
he
you
is
get
cruising.
this build, you're going to start farming neutrals really fast. Look how fast he's attacking already.
This is why I like this facet too. I think it just ramps you really well. And you kind of become a jungle beast.
Yeah.
Not as... You don't have to use as many shells either.
And look at him, he's just going to challenge Utoro. I don't even think he really thinks he's going to get a kill off of this one, as the charge is very far away, but he's just kind of ruining Utoro's day.
And again, he's like almost 1,000 ahead of Collapse here between the two aura-based offlaners. This facet also helps you just slam the tower. So anytime you push this carry off, open up that objective, take more space away from them. Harassment's going to continue here as Insania is hanging out by the mines.
I've seen this before.
He's already level 5, man. He's chilling in this game.
Liquid certainly brought an idea to dealing with Utoro, it seems. And one of them is Insania just casually stealing his experience in the jungle when he gives up on lane.
I mean, it is really annoying for this hero. He wants to just kind of be left alone, get the cleave up, get ancient stacks later, get all that juicy solo XP, and then cruise through them. Harass him a bit, it's annoying.
Well, it's a good thing they used all those spells to secure the power rune. It does spawn bottom, and it's an arcane rune. Very good one.
It's a nice one. Still looking for that haste, but I'm sure it's coming by game
right
3.
Around the corner, I'm sure. Why, back to the Templar Assassin. Team Liquid really likes running this carry. Why do you think they like it more than everybody else so much?
It kills Roshan.
Okay.
I don't think they have a lot of heroes outside of that beast that really accelerate Roshan for them as much as the TA does.
Sure. And for a fast team that doesn't do as... Wow, that was a lot of damage.
Okay. That's a high-level kill, too.
Yeah. For a team that plays pretty fast but doesn't do quite the amount of objective pressure that Game of Gladiators does, Roshan is like a very important key for Liquid when it comes to being able to take control of the game early, right? So being able to have a hero that does it for you like that, guaranteed. Insania is going to get run down as he tries to trespass into the triangle area. And it comes no good for him.
Trying to scout the stacks. No, there weren't any. You were the stack, my friend. And you become food for Radon.
Stack of heads.
I think the Roshan timings for Liquid are also really important, because if you're going to play this game like we saw game 1, where you're buying 6 or 7 auras, that is a heavy investment into that like 25, 35 minute period. And if you're not getting 2nd or 3rd Roshan by that point and going high ground, those auras start to lose some value.
Sure.
So you need a hero in your lineup every time that can just do it very fast, very efficiently, and use the Aegis well. I think the Beastmaster from last game fits that perfectly, right? I think TA almost always fits that perfectly. Even if it's a bad TA game, the hero's going to go in Roche, kill it fast, take the Aegis, and be able to go high ground with it. Traps are always going to be useful on the map. Sure, maybe you have like refraction burn, but who cares if you have, you know, 3,000 effective HP behind the TA with every aura in the game at 30 minutes.
Trying to cover another power route. This one goes to Nisha, and amp damage immediately pops it, gets the toss up in the air. Big damage. Finishes off Laurel, and Collapse is now run into a fight that maybe he could still win. Macropyre gets thrown up, but they easily just take over as Nisha, surrounded by both the Underlord and his minions. Underlord going back through the gate. A stolen Nether Strike put onto the Hero, gets the kill with the Fade Bolt. Mira gets the kill. He'll die for it, but it was a nifty little play by him, and trades out ultimately 2 for 2. 1 core, 1 support on both sides.
He gets to buy out. Sad fight for Laurel, but good for the supports here on Team Spirit as they get that big tiny kill. Still level 7 already up for Boxy. He is done with phase boots in a solid position. Much closer game than that first one, though it is still 33 dictating the overall strength here. Can maybe start to get the fights going with the early pipe, which is, it's closing in for this Darkseer. He's like 500 off it here. It's going to be a very early pipe for Team Liquid. Would not be surprised to see them try and make some move towards mid with it. Ion Shell, this tiny or Spear Breaker just force the engagement. You almost have this blink as well.
Well, the Siege Wagon is now dead, so part of the push is gone. Blink Dagger is almost up for Nisha.
Yeah, but this tower's low. It's a very juicy objective. You also have your vision around mid on that cliff. Seems like the natural point to make the move, unless you feel like you can hunt and find Yatoro in one of those jungle areas. But I think when you get this pipe, you want to get something going with it.
Sure.
Or invade triangle. That is the other option. The more difficult one is, I mean, Team Spirit are going to try and defend it, but you do still have that ward up for now. In fact, Spirit are scanning for it as Insania kind of soft invades again.
Ooh, barely gets the D ward there. Moposhka. Small advantage of the Jakiro, able to quickly kill wards when you get in range.
4 points in that dual breath. But the pipe, that's finished. How much can Liquid get done with this aura advantage right now? A very fast pipe in a game where it's very strong.
Aura advantage and Blink Dagger advantage, as Laurel doesn't have his. So Liquid just, they bring numbers to the mid lane. And Team Spirit are going to respond. That was really good dual breath that was stolen from earlier. Charge through, hitting Boxy as well. Now with Collapse into the pit. They do manage to get the vacuum in there, but Laurel hits a good stinger, blows up one. 33's low. He's going to burn out surely as the Stormbolt comes in and finish him off. Nisha at half HP with Yatoro hot on his heels. Gets a toss over, throws him into Mickey. Mickey, does he want this fight? Mira charges in after Nisha again. But once again, Team Spirit rather, trying to create space for the carry to be able to get out, but this time around it will not work. Nisha gets him on the Blink Dagger toss back.
He's blocking him with the last wall illusion. And Liquid, they get that mid move. They get it in force here. Bringing Mickey in, gets the triple kill. That is a huge amount of damage done in this early game. In a fight where Spirit just, they felt ready for it, but it felt a little lethargic. And Shadow Demon is not the hero you want getting started on. This is the dream scenario for Liquid. Take the Purge out of the fight, open it up for the Darkseer, open it up for the Spear Breaker. Yeah, the Purge gets thrown on 33, but the damage is done. And then the reinforcements just come in at a very slow pace. You get a nice stinger here, but there's no epicenter channel. There's too much on the ground. And Yatoro just doesn't really get anything done here. No God Strength available as he was farming with it.
And this is why you were making such a big deal about that. There's a pipe difference here, right? It's just like you look at these Liquid heroes, they're surviving off of 300, 400 HP. One pipe use in that team fight makes a huge difference.
100%. Such a big aura here, especially with heroes like Tiny when you have so much HP early.
Dire's bottom tower.
That's a big team fight win Liquid we're looking for. Going to try and continue to snowball into the 14-minute Wisdom Rune. We saw Team Spirit defend this with everybody last game. Looks like they're just going to concede it or maybe give up more.
Oh, this is nasty. A toss back in a macro fire. He's done. He is cooked, and that's going to be a 14-minute Wisdom Rune that Team Spirit worked so hard to defend last time around. They're making a move on mid, though. A big kill if they can get it. Mickey is just overwhelmed by the constant assault of magic damage. Still, though, Epicenter has now been used, and Boxy's created some space. Nobody's going to be able to get here from Team Liquid right away, it seems. Nisha from a distance is too low. Hits the Avalanche, but everybody else...
Oh, Liquid, gate like for the other one.
Oh, okay.
Collapse making up for his carry sins here. So he reclaims it. Early blink on the Sand King, actually getting something done in this game compared to that game one. Those two tempo setters strike back for Spirit. Again, this is a game where you're not, I don't think you're going to be able to run them over as much as you did in that first game if you're Liquid, just because, man, this Sand King Underlord are tough to run into for the Tiny. I think Nisha, the second that Pit Firestorm is out, it's tough for him to just go in.
Item timing wise, I mean, the difference, Beastmaster already did Roshan by this time, right? We talked about what TA gives you versus what Beastmaster does. Obviously, the Templar Assassin cannot give you nearly as fast as a Roshan as the Beastmaster does. So this item timing, Mickey really needs to be crisp on it. He's already died several times. The Desolator is about to be complete.
There it is.
And then we'll see whether or not they're actually able to do Roshan from there.
The big question is, can you just walk in this dire side pit, force the objective here if you're Liquid? I think there's a decent argument for it. But it's a lot scarier than that first game. There's a world where Spirit can test that they're very fast, and they get a fight with Sand King Underlord in that pit. And that is just nasty because you have 0 BKBs.
At the same time, it's probably still a fight that Yatoro doesn't really want to be at.
Yeah, the Sven's useless in that fight.
So it's probably a 4 versus 5.
I think you do just force it if you're Liquid. I mean, this is kind of your game plan. This is what the TA is supposed to give you. You need to start doing it as fast as possible. You could also just take the team fight with the Desolator, try and get some charges up.
And Team Spirit, Nisha get the combo on to 2 with a charge on through. Both cores are dead. Wait, we used the other strike to get even more. He just leaves Yatoro for the rest and actually went for the Spirit, or excuse me, the Shadow team. So Spirit Breaker picks up an extra kill for them. 3 kills right away off of Ward. The Team Spirit are pinging now, but the damage is already done. They have been wasted.
Tiny just does so much damage. It is stupid to look at sometimes.
Yeah, I think this here. Crash Landing's just a dumb facet. Guys, it's broken. Accept it. Just ban it out. Just don't let anybody have this hero, man. Well, I don't think, like, I don't think Sand King's good. I think Tiny's broken. If I'm looking at that exchange in the draft, I'll take Tiny every time.
Yeah, I also feel like I'd rather have the Tiny. Maybe the ultra late Sand King is scarier, but I think everything else just favors the Tiny.
Yeah, I mean, another part is like, you talk about the burst damage, it's just easier to do it on Tiny. He does more, but then he can also build Conda. Right? That's just something that Sand King can't continue that line when he matches up against these pipes and stuff. Like, he has this sustained Bloodstone build, but he can't do that extra scaling burst because Tiny can just build Conda.
Well, looks like Eternal Shroud's going to be the answer here for Laurel against all the magical bursts. Would be really good this game if he can get it up.
Speaking on that line, by the way, Nisha's going to physical damage build this game. Blink, Echo Saber, he's going to go BKB.
I was wondering if he was going to commit for BKB, because, I mean, if there were ever a game for an earlier Tiny BKB, it's this one. Yeah. Can't blame him here. And then if you're going to go BKB, you may as well scale into the physical.
Sure. Collapse Pit's going to be able to stop that charge. A lot of obnoxious things for Boxy, but what's even more obnoxious is the Tiny. Got another toss back. A lot of Atos try and keep Nikkei at bay, but he will still be a part of the kill and still get a Desolator stack.
Regeneration.
Tiny is snowballing, man. 3-1 and 9 for Nisha, and he's got Ores behind him. He's got Surge plus Ion Shell behind him. He's about to have a Shivas on the Darkseer to back up that Wombo combo if he can ever land the vacuum into the Avalanche toss crash landing. It's might just be fight over.
And we take this early. This is super scary. It's 18 minutes and they're taking that tier 1 and tier 2. That means they are probably in a good spot for Liquid to take the Tormentor away from you. In which case, that's just another round of objective. When you can take your Tormentor and the enemy Tormentor, boom, 2,800 for yourself, denying 1,400 away from Team Spirit. That's another just going to be a massive net worth swing. And this is going to build up really quickly for Liquid if everything goes according to plan. Now, Team Spirit are trying their best to put pressure out on the map.
Oh, look at the setup.
Watch, he's about to get... Oh, he hit him with the first hit bash, too. He already had the charge set up, but he went for the hit. Got it on the post, got the vacuum back in, drags him in, and Laurel has to burrow strike out, leaving 2 corpses behind.
All right, Nisha, I know you're looking for more here, but let's chill. Don't want to give him some opening, and Eternal Shroud done for the Sand King just too late here as Boxy gives them all the setup they need, and once you're stuck in this little clump, you're absolutely doomed because you're getting Avalanche, you're getting charged, you're getting vacuumed, you're getting walled, you're getting macro-pired. There's an ice path.
And Boxy finds another one.
Man, he is.
This is going to be just like that Beastmaster setup. You've got the hero that...
Oh, this is so sad for Yatoro.
Yeah, he has to stand and fight. That's all he can do. Hope that he can get the kill on Boxy. Almost does, but not quite. Boxy waves goodbye to Yatoro.
The lead is starting to build here for Liquid. They're controlling the map, getting all the lanes in, use this Aegis really well. Still has 2 minutes left. Feels like it's been 5. The rate they're going. And again, is this Sven going to scale in this game? We pointed to the problems in the draft. It doesn't look like it's getting much better. The Shiva's already out is going to really debilitate Yatoro's impact in a fight. And you don't have some like big vacuum to clump him for the stuns and the Sven cleave to come through. You have a lot of single target lockdown between the two supports. You know, a Pit that's okay, but the Pit is not going to control the BKB Tiny once that's out. Struggles in this series continuing for Team Spirit as they just have not disrupted Liquid's game plan at all in these first 2 games. They're getting the auras, they're getting the team fight timings first that they want with them. They're getting the Roshans with their Rosh Killer, and then they're just using that Aegis to take over the map. You got to stop this at some point, because they're just getting to do everything they want to do.
Play once again. Mira goes through the gate to grab it, and will be himself grabbed.
Well, that's a one-way mission.
I like that it wasn't the Underlord that went through the gate.
Yeah, you go
know?
through there, my man. I got the last one. You'll be fine, bro. Trust me, there's nobody there.
Truly a kamikaze mission right there. 21-11, a 9,000 net worth lead for Team Liquid. Picks up the other Wisdom Rune on the other side of the map, and it seems like Collapse will still be the victim of such as Macropire and Ice Path being pump faked a billion times by Insania, and they're catching Laurel on mid. Bro strikes to the low ground, tries to TP away. Damage comes too thick and fast from Mickey as another Desolator charge goes his way.
I mean, it feels like this game has come down to the Darkseer came online faster than the Underlord. Like, you're still looking for this pipe on Collapse. You just can't take a fight, and because you can't take a fight, you're getting caught on the map. And TA, man, does this hero make catching people easy. You can go shove waves with the traps, you can safely kill another wave by yourself, get all the lanes in, and then still get vision on random parts of the map for the setup. It's so hard for Spirit to find the vision here to get out, and they have been relegated to the base. What are you even trying to hit here at this point? The BKB has done for the Tiny as an S and Y is finished for the Sven. These are not equal in what they're going to do for you. I mean, this is not a play. I'll tell you that much.
What, sitting around your tier 3?
Yeah, this is, you know, got to make something happen here.
Yeah,
oh, that is a good rune.
The way they're currently smoking, they're not going to have anything happen unless Mickey is to farm this.
I mean, he is the best target they can jump. That is the literal dream.
He's going to have 33 right behind him, so they might be able to get... Oh, no! He got the blink away before the damage came in. Oh, that's bad. Now they're going to be slowed down by the Shivas. Mickey is going to be able to hit them from behind. 33 is just going to charge in.
Oh,
he knows this fight is good for them. All they have to do is just catch as many heroes as humanly possible, and it's going to be a lot. It's going to be 4. It's going to be a 5th one spotted on the trap. Nisha jumps for him. Can't quite get him, but they will take a 4 for nothing against Spirit.
The team was just not ready. Laurel makes absolutely the correct play, which is instant stun that TA. You have to take the opportunity when it presents itself, but there was no instant lift follow-up. Demonic Purge came through, but he's able to get the blink off without a chain stun. And that is going to open up the front door for Liquid here. I mean, this could be one of the most shut-out series Team Spirit have ever played.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I struggle to think of a time that Team Spirit lost 2 games in a series like this.
But I don't even think they've won a single team fight this entire series, convincingly.
Yeah.
They've scraped out some kills here or there, but so what? Another just mass smoke. Trying to find something as Liquid are on their way out, but they give up nothing here.
And if they don't take something soon, it's going to be another Roshan for Team Liquid. 40 seconds. That's, I think, if you lose that fight, if you're Team Spirit contesting this next Roshan, that might just be GG. And that is going to be rough because they will not be having a BKB for Utoro for that fight.
They have level 4 vacuum on this Rubik right now.
Okay.
I mean, that is a comeback mechanism.
Yeah, you get him inside the right Burrow Strike pit.
You have an amazing lineup for vacuum here. Mass TPs to Roche.
Yeah, they want to get set up before Team Liquid does.
Interesting move. You have another smoke to use with it, though. Otherwise, likelihood you run over some TA trap or ward is pretty high.
Also, with top lane and mid lane pushing in, it becomes more and more obvious as less heroes show. Collapse is going to be the one. The Liquid just keep hitting. You say, where are you at, Spirit?
I mean,
Where's everybody else?
you can get some good angle here with this stolen vacuum.
That's true.
Pretty insane.
And they might just back right up
Boxy just
into
ran
it.
into him.
But Boxy ends up charging into all 4 of these heroes. Team Spirit is spotted now. They will get the pick off on him, and Collapse is going to join them for the full 5-man. Nisha actually goes for it, blinks in, immediately telekinesis. Good response from Mira, but the vacuum and wall goes out. Spirit have gotten a decent number of spells out of him. Yatoro's going in. He's going in for the Jakiro right now, put himself on the front lines. Yatoro is getting burned out of a lot of his damage with the buyback coming in. With the Spirit Breaker charging out, Team Spirit need to get out of here. This fight is no longer a thing. Maposhka's going to be the one to have the charge on him. He's not going to be able to just appear into the trees, so 2 dead in exchange for 2 kills and a buyback on Liquid.
Nisha was all over that Rubik. Mira could not get a good vacuum off. Couldn't really do anything in that fight but try and survive himself. The buyback from Boxy secures the team fight win, so you once more push high ground here with the Darkseer's auras.
And they could have just gone and check out Roshan, try to play for that. Instead, they go to try and end the game, get buybacks out of them. They got one of them. Maposhka's going to use his. A vacuum into a burrow. Pipe is going to be used to protect. The disruption buys Laurel a bit of time here. He's going to be able to back out. Demonic Purge on Nisha and at half HP. He has to use his BKB. He will slowly work his way back. A TP while his BKB is still up. He's fine.
Shatter Demon buyback for a BKB on the Tiny, and you lost more of your base here. The 3rd BKB now finished for Liquid. They have all 3 cores online.
And Boxy is working towards a BKB as well. Team Liquid are very clearly trying to end the game in this next 5 to 6, 7, 8 minute window.
I mean, they have understood their idea of this series.
Yeah.
That is very clear. And if you win this game as Liquid, whoever you play next, I mean, they're going to have a better idea of what's happening, but you are executing very well here. Up 23k, triple BKB online, and there is not a lot to answer those BKBs. Team Spirit, we're hoping they would be in a stronger position right now where you could, I mean, use Demonic Purge or be tankier on the front line. Not going to have that luxury.
They lost the ward that they had here.
I mean, look at the vision
from earlier, and there is vision all over them right now.
Yeah, you got a gem on Collapse. He's just cutting through traps. Spent the last 2 minutes trying to get rid of vision, and there's still this ward on them.
So painful. If they get caught on this ward, the Collapse is too far forward to see. Okay, finally they're going to see it here. Holy crap, guys. They have full vision of gotta be careful.
Yeah, but like every time you get rid of vision, you don't know if you're being charged or not.
Yep. And they're in a corner of the map without Yatoro right now. I assume they're going to try and use the gate to get him here, but a charge actually goes onto Yatoro, and they're going to punish Boxy for that one. Boxy gets caught. That is going to be a dieback. They do get Laurel at the same time. Collapse hidden behind a tree will be able to escape his fate. An interesting trade-off. A longer death timer for the Spirit Breaker, but the damage from Liquid is so fast they can take this Roshan without Spirit getting here to contest.
It's a very close maneuver in terms of almost working for Team Spirit. They get everybody out there. That's a dieback on the Breaker. You can maybe take that 5-on-4.
Yeah, maybe gate back to Roche if they try and go for it or something.
But Liquid still just too fast. Always finding these little trades, always making sure they're favorable, and TA will accelerate the Roshan Aegis onto the Templar Assassin for the Siege, and Cheese onto the Tiny, who, I mean, you're never bursting Nisha in this game, so that's as good as a second life.
Well, middle tower is under attack.
Always try and look on the bright side of life. Team Spirit.
There's lower bracket.
There is always plan B, lower bracket for you. But I was going to say he, disassembled his Echo Saber and was able to buy out a BKB. So,
yeah, but just how do you deal the damage here?
It's a good question.
I feel like you need Daedalus on Sven to start doing anything. And he is a full Daedalus away from Daedalus. So.
yeah, he is.
Still maybe some stolen vac hopes. You've gotten it a couple times. Maybe you get that big Ice Pass deal. You currently have Avalanche. The high ground can be difficult if you're fully set up as Spirit, but I mean, with triple BKB plus the pipe, it's just so much damage mitigation.
I mean, this is one of those situations, Team Spirit, if you think you're the best team fighters in the world,
prove it.
This is the time to prove it, because I struggle to see the scenario in which you win this.
Looking for some straggler. Would love a pick off to slow down this Aegis push.
Team Liquid playing it slow, may have plenty of time left on the Aegis, so there's no rush to these things. And with Nisha's build, it's not like they're going to be falling off too quickly. He did go back for the Conda. He's looking at Silver Edge, Ags, so didn't actually go for the full Daedalus.
Stolen Surge, okay, also not bad here.
Not too bad. BKB, though. 4th BKB for Team Liquid. There is just this nasty window of time where Sand King does nothing, Firestorm does nothing, Pit does nothing. You're going to be working off of Demonic Purge. Oh, pulled him out of the base. Toss him back in again. Disruption. He's going to be outside of the base when he comes out of that disruption and probably killed. They give him the surge to try and get him away, but big damage coming out from Nisha. Bigger from Yotaro, though. He cuts down the Tiny and actually does some heavy damage to Boxy as well. They're going to chase after him. See if they can catch these heroes. 33 cutting in. Back. Buyback's going to be used by Team Spirit. This is a hold. They have to be able to win, but Yotaro, a charge onto him. A toss that does big time damage. He has to turn and fight, but there's nothing he can do here. Not against the full collapse of Team Liquid as they throw their last bit of damage. And it's the Conda hit that finishes them off in the end. No buyback there from Yotaro. A toss forward from Nisha. Mickey goes for one. Nisha the other. They look to deliver the final blow to Team Spirit. It will do it. They will take a 2-0 against Team Spirit. They will keep their momentum going in the upper bracket.
That has to be one of the most convincing series I've ever seen against Team Spirit, and by a team that was struggling all year to have convincing series. How many times have we seen them, start to look good, start to gain momentum, and then get knocked down? Here, they make a definitive statement. I think for me, this is also one of the more decisive series I've seen from them as a team in terms of they knew what they wanted in the draft, and it was not confusing. It wasn't all over the place. Very clear what they wanted to do with their heroes. Very clear what heroes they wanted. They got them, and they executed it well. So if you're Liquid, you have a lot of confidence after this series to be like, all right, what we're doing, it's going to work against some of these slower teams. We are maybe the fastest team here. If you look at the average game length for Liquid, it is incredibly fast. Now, some of those are also fast losses, but they're willing to play this really good pace, play the fighting carries on Mickey, and that's a scary opponent for a lot of teams who are coming in here trying to, play for those later mid games. You just don't have a chance to get there.
It really does feel like Game of Gladiators and Liquid are mirroring each other. The two most dominant teams of the regular season last year.
Oh, don't say that.
Coming into this tournament.
Don't say we're going to have another Game in Liquid Grand Final.
And if the speed is the name of the game, is the speed is the meta right now, then these two teams may just match up against each other in the upper bracket final. But there's still a semifinal to go. Of course, Team Liquid are going to be moving on to face up against Tundra, their fellow Group B team. And we'll have to wait a bit for that because we are going to be talking about elimination matches for tomorrow. And that's going to be a tough spot for Team Spirit. I mean, they've done some lower bracket runs before.
Yeah, there's a notable one at TI.
Yeah, there's a little tournament called the International. They did all right for themselves in a lower bracket run, but it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
I feel like they have too much confidence in the Sand King and they have to adjust for speed.
All right, well, let's go to the speed themselves. Up on stage, it's Tsunami and Boxy.
Thank you very much. I am joined by Boxy of Team Liquid, who put on a stellar performance to qualify you guys to top 6. And I was hoping to ask you about some of the heroes that you played in this series. We'll take it back to game 1. Morphling, 4 position. Not a very common pick. We're starting to see it bubble up a little bit during Riyadh, but how are you inspired to add this to your hero pool?
We saw Collapse tier list, and it said Morphling is like S tier offlaner. And then I played it a little bit. I lost like my first 10 games, but I think it's pretty good. I think it's nice that you can play carry morph or support morph. A bit like you can play carry monkey or support monkey, and it's probably nice for drafting more so than like the most imba shit ever, but it's good, and it's fun also. So.
This seems to be a consistent theme throughout the event. The facets are really starting to show their effort because Snapfire can be swapped. In this series, Sven was swapped between carry and support. But then what is a off-laner tier list teaching you about potential 4 positions?
Well, if a hero is like S tier on one role, maybe it can work on another role.
So you're telling me we're going to see like well, actually, you're kind of right about that. Dang, okay. You gave me some food for thought. Okay, I'll think about that. Game number 2. I want to know about how you apparently just don't have a fear receptor. You're here playing Spirit Breaker, you're Shadow Blade, hiding between tier 2, tier 3, waiting for a moment to charge. I imagine that you would be like, oh, maybe I might be in Vision or something like that, but you're just going into these places.
The one behind tier 2 I think is good, because nobody's gonna like expect you to be there. There was a couple others. I mean, the one on near Roche Pit was maybe okay, like slight feeding, but good fight. The one on mid, I guess like I thought I would get out with like the speed and run away. It was like funny.
And then there was the one where you caught Yutoro in the bottom of the jungle. You were really trying to milk every bit of stun you could get out of that one.
Yeah, I almost died, but that was like my team saying he's farming there, so I just listened to them. Yeah.
And then the one other moment was when all of Spirit we saw smoke to Roche, and your team was going to siege tier 3 top, and you were like, nah, something's up here. I don't see anyone on Spirit, it's only Collapse. How did you know to go investigate the Roche pit?
No, but we saw something. We saw somebody TP or something. Okay. And then that's the one I talked about outside Roche pit was a bit feeding, because I probably should wait until they start like defending their base. To go in, they will just kill me, and then we kill them, but we're very far away, so if I wait a little bit, it's better. This was a bit feeding, but it was a good fight. But then I buy back, so I'm poor, and yeah.
Well, you earned yourself a bit of feed after a performance like that, Boxy. Amazing game coming out of you, amazing series coming out of Liquid, and we'll send it back to the studio.
Thank you so much, Tsunami and Boxy. Love that post-game interview, breaking down a lot of what happened throughout this series, and especially in game number 2, which was just another difficult game for Team Spirit. We thought maybe they had a little bit of juice for themselves in this draft. It definitely looked better than what they had gathered for themselves in game number 1, but it still just was not enough, Lacoste. There was nothing it felt that they could do.
Yeah, seems like they were not able to match the speed of Team Liquid. What this patch is pretty much all about, who can come online the fastest.